Over the past few months, there has been a bunch of significant information about Poppy Playtime Chapter 6. Things like subtle teases, artwork, and so much more. So, I wanted to go through and really dissect what it all means, because it's telling a story, and that story is setting up Chapter 6. That being said, let's jump into all this new information. The first thing I want to talk about comes from the Playtime Co. store video that is voiced by Leith Pierre. Normally, I wouldn't touch on merchandise stuff in my videos, but this isn't the first time we have seen something like this. These are technically canon depending on who you ask, since it's voiced by Leith. Now, what he says at the end is what's important here. He mentions the prototype t-shirt and says he definitely wouldn't know who or what that is. Whatever it is, I don't know. Man-made horrors beyond my comprehension. And then he says, Sharon, how did these get in here? Someone's head is going to roll when I find out, then it cuts. Obviously, this is presented as a fun gag to market the store, but let's look a little deeper into it. As we know, the prototype is a kept secret, while him along with the other bigger bodies. This is obviously why he said he doesn't know who or what that is. But then he says man-made horrors beyond his comprehension. Leith is actively admitting that what they were making with the Bigger Bodies initiative was not just helpful toys. These were monsters made by man. More specifically, made by him and the others inside of Playtime Co. Horrors beyond comprehension. Yes, he was saying this to act clueless, but the point is, Leith knows that the Bigger Bodies initiative turned into something beyond comprehension. It got to the point where they were making monsters for the sake of making monsters, creating life for the motive of creation and not purpose. If they could do it, they did, regardless of all morals or ethics. This could be setting up a dark chapter 6, man-made horrors beyond our comprehension, with Leith Pierre at the forefront. But I'll talk about him more later in the video. What follows is an art piece with every single Playtime Co creation that we have ever seen so far in the game. Characters ranging from Sir Poops-a-Lot to Miss Delight and even Daisy. Literally everyone. It's really cool. As you can see, the most significant characters are in the front, like Huggy, Poppy, and Harley. Behind them is the prototype. But what's more important here is what's behind him. Buildings, more specifically buildings that resemble a city. Where else have we seen something like this? Well, at the start of chapter 5, off in the distance sits a mysterious city location. This city is theorized to be the Better Place. We know the Better Place is a location because when the prototype said it to Poppy, the subtitled words were capitalized, indicating that this was an actual location. Now, this is nothing new. I'm sure if you're watching this video and have played chapter 5, you already know about this location, but it won't be the last time we see it being teased. Furthermore, considering every toy is in this photo in front of the Better Place, I do think it further suggests the notion that this place is where the toys want to be, a sort of paradise. I mean, they're all smiling, right? In comes a photo with Lily Lovebraids who captured Giblet. This post was used for fans to ask them questions, similar to the Harley Sawyer Q&A. But you'll notice above this photo on the wood are strange dots and dashes, similar to that of Morse code. Unfortunately, while these are clearly put here for a reason, Morse code doesn't spell anything out. The way it's set up just doesn't make any sense. The closest thing I could get was the word alive, but take that with a grain of salt. This would be followed by another photo teasing that the Lily and Giblet Q&A would be on the IGN Live broadcast. Now, this is inside of Lily's dollhouse, and on the whiteboard you can see her friends, Spencer, one of Mob's 3D artists, orphans, and even Lily holding the prototype's hand. As we know, she was obsessed with becoming his friend. She would always want to please him. Fast forward a few days, and then the broadcast happened, and let's just say it didn't go as planned for Mob. The voice actors did an in-person live panel for guests that attended the event. This was never broadcasted live, but would later be put on YouTube. The long-awaited Q&A was also not broadcasted live either. Now, it was never directly said that the Q&A would be broadcasted live on IGN's event. However, yes, Mob did hint towards it whether they want to admit it or not. So this left fans frustrated, and rightfully so. They also said that the voice actor panel would be live. It wasn't. Rather, it was on IGN Live, but it wasn't broadcasted live. So, miscommunication on Mob's end, to which they would say they also did not know it wouldn't be live. Was this a sly marketing tactic, or was it an honest mistake? I'll let you decide. The point is, they would finally post the Lily and Giblet Q&A after the fact on Twitter, and I hope you're hungry. For nothing. Because this was 10 minutes of a nothing burger, which kind of annoyed some people. But I think people needed to tame their expectations for this. To be honest, the Harley Q&A was also a nothing burger. It's just a fun way for the characters to interact with fans of the game. Regardless, what was being said is not important for this Q&A. The fact that it happened is important. Harley had a Q&A, and then he returned in the following chapter. As far as we know, Lily Lovebraids is dead, and she just had her very own Q&A. So, we can assume this might hint that Lily will return in chapter 6. Let's jump back into artwork again. Mob released a Mother's Day piece centered around Mommy Longlegs. If you look closely, you can see Morse code hiding in the webbing. It reads, "Ashes, ashes, we all fall down." These are lyrics from Ring Around the Rosie, a children's song. The friendly meaning behind this is just a simple song where kids can jump around and fall over. But the theorized dark meaning is that the song originated because of the Great Plague. People thought rosies referred to a rash, posies were thought to be the herbs carried to ward off the smell of the disease, and ashes, ashes, we all fall down symbolized burning of bodies and death. Considering it's on this artwork, this further pushes the obvious theory that the Playtime Co. factory will be burnt down and everything and everyone inside is going to perish with it. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. The Playtime Co. factory will go up in ashes and everything is going to die. Next is the most recent artwork. Originally, I didn't think anything was going to be coming out, pun intended, but I'm glad it did because it actually revealed a ton of stuff. The art itself is a bunch of characters celebrating the month, but if we look a little closer, we can pick out a lot of significant things. First, and the most obvious, is the prototype. This art is portraying him as having long, stilt-like peg legs. This is huge, and it's the first time we have ever seen him without his spider legs. So this could be his toy version. He's just a tall jester character with peg legs. Yeah, that doesn't seem right. I really don't think this version of him is in any way connected to his in-game lore. He's clearly a Jack-in-the-Box toy. I think they added these legs to fit him into the artwork and follow the theme. Just look at Lily. We have never seen her look like this in-universe. Now, if this is what the prototype used to look like, well, it's a little lazy in my opinion, and it doesn't suit him at all. Plus, it's extremely obvious that if this is what he looks like, this will be his plush. And that would explain why. I'm sure turning this into a plushie is too complicated, so they had to simplify him even more to make sure they can fit him into a plush toy. Unfortunately, that's a very real possibility. Do you think it looks like this just for the art, or are we looking at the prototype's real appearance? Moving on from his legs, you'll notice he has pink blush, similar to that of his sister, Poppy. Just a cool detail I wanted to point out. Now, if we look down, we can see presumably the player wearing some likely upcoming new merch. I know, more merch. It's kind of a running joke that this is the player, a literal nobody, and I think that's the point. I don't think we play as anyone significant. I think being portrayed as this is hinting that we are just a simple employee, one of the many that got lost in Playtime Co.'s grip. Or we are literally this, a plastic human hybrid being, a creation made by Playtime Co. that's beyond our comprehension. But that's a theory for a different video. Next to us is Dog Day, and if you look very closely, you can see that he is stitched together. Last time we saw him, he was cut in half in chapter 3, so he could be stitched together here for a fun little gag, or it's teasing his return. I do think we will see him again since he was just sitting behind the door in the playhouse. He never actually died. Furthermore, next to Dog Day is Harley Sawyer, and in his pocket is a note with Leith Pierre's name on it. I think this is in fact hinting that we will see Leith Pierre in chapter 6 in some way or another. We've never had confirmation that he is dead. As far as we know, he's still alive. He likely wandered his way down underneath the factory during the Hour of Joy and tried to escape to the better place. That is where I think Leith Pierre could be if he's still alive. Which brings me to the last part of this art, the Morse code. It reads better place. Again, we are being teased about this location. It's extremely obvious that the better place is where chapter 6 is going to take place. Okay, let's put all this information together. What is all of this stuff teasing for chapter 6? Well, I think it's very clear. Certain characters are going to be making a return, but more importantly, it's going to take place in the better place. A paradise for toys, and or a place where they can experience what it's like in the real world while being a toy. And we might even see our dear friend Leith Pierre. But don't get too excited because everything is going to be burnt down. Remember, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. What do you think about all this information? There's also a lot of stuff that the CEO has said, but it's not really super significant. We know chapter 6 is being worked on, we know it's going to be the biggest chapter yet. It's always the same things being said every year. Chapter 6 is coming, a new unrelated Poppy game is coming, and they're still hiring people on the team. We already know all of this stuff, so that's why I don't really touch on what they say in the Discord. As you could probably tell from my voice, I am sick, so I apologize if I sound weird. Regardless, let me know your thoughts about it all in the comments below, and if you like horror game content like this, please consider subscribing. Also, you can now get 30% off your next UFO order using code TERRIFY at checkout. This supports me, but more importantly, you get a nice discount. I have a Discord server, so if you want to chat with me, I recommend joining. And if you want to support the channel more, you can become a member. Shout out to a few channel members, thank you guys so much. Don't forget to follow my Twitter and TikTok at TerrifyT. Thanks for watching.